What's good, y'all? It's Casper. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about the third season, episode 1 of Tulsa King. So the third season of Tulsa King, episode 1 is called Blood and Bourbon, directed by McKay. It's absolutely crazy to see where we're at now, especially in this Tulsa King world. Man, what a growth. What an absolute shock to actually be at the third season. Crazy to see that the fourth season got picked up. One of my favorite TV shows ever. One of the TV shows that I can actually sit down and look at characters just do their thing in there, and everything, how they move, is absolutely amazing, and it just looks absolutely awesome to see this mafia swag, and really like seeing Stallone shine in this TV episode. So a lot of excitement and a lot of good positivity notes whenever I'm doing these Tulsa King reviews. Whenever there is something that is a little off or something I'm like, hey, didn't really like that choice, I will let it be known. A lot of my reviews are spoilers, so once again, this review is gonna have spoilers. We're finally back, and I can't believe how fast time flies. And let's just get straight to what I saw. Third season, first episode, Stallone is back. If we could remember from the last season, very insane how the first two seasons are kind of leaving us on a cliffhanger. And last season we saw Dwight get caught up with the feds chilling with his girl, and it was very crazy shocker on how that happened. Before I go into this episode, I do want to shout out the writing after seeing the first episode. This first episode, I just want to applaud how the creativity on making this world flow very well. It's just very exciting to know that there's people out there, like, their minds are just very creative, and that's kind of like the circle and the area you want to put yourself in to see, like, whoa, my ideas are literally here. These ideas are just excelling like crazy. So shout out to the writing, actually doing a great job in this episode. I applauded it a lot. I would just start off with this episode saying they knocked it out of the park on, obviously is the first episode, but they nailed it out of the park on this literally being an introduction, here's the band type of episode. This episode did a really good job literally pacing every character and introducing who's going to be involved in this TV show. There is a few people that I didn't see, and I'm like, thank goodness. Like Stacy, I didn't want that crazy, like, oh, my stomach's gonna hurt seeing a character like that. A lot of cool moments in this first episode with the introduction flow that they're doing, where it just gives you that, yo, he's back in this TV show, like, let's go. Here's Bodie, here's Tyson, goodies in the building. See a lot of other characters in here. When they show up, it's either gonna be a chuckle because that character, the actor portraying that character, is doing a phenomenal job. There's so much actors in this first episode where it's too much to be like, I love this performance, and it's gonna take literally like almost hours. This is how great this first episode was. And just an introduction aspect, right away when I saw how Stallone showed up on the screen, first thing I noticed was it did take some time to actually get back to filming. And you're seeing the recap in the beginning of this TV show. You're seeing how they left it off in the last TV show with Stallone had a little bit black in his hair, and then in this one he's starting off with a little bit more gray hair. Kind of see that it did take time to actually start filming this first episode. But either or, I will say that a lot of stuff stood out. The camera direction was one of those things that did stood out to me. At times kind of gave me like, this is a movie feel right here. And that's one thing I did enjoy. Really gave it that more of that emphasis feel, that platinum feel of like, hey, this TV show is just upgrading really well. Quality camera wise was just very awesome to see. With the quality improving, the scenery is improving, this world is just expanding a lot bigger. It was Stallone right when he got back introduced to the very wild that we finally found out who is interviewing him. This is where the turn of events is going to be very insane now, because Stallone's character, Dwight, definitely doesn't want to deal with the feds, does a lot of stuff to get out of that. Now we have a guy in the feds trying to actually get him involved to do some grimy work. The perspective is very insane. Costume design for Stallone was on point. He has not lost a touch at all. This dude is handling it like a straight boss. That's one thing while watching this first episode, with him communicating with that fed. That was wild to see, just the comfortability of knowing where we left off and executing to the top T. Him talking to Margaret, the progression of introduction, seeing that everyone is still involved with his family, seeing his sisters here, his daughter, his real life daughter got introduced in here too. Stallone really did a good job of bringing his people back on this first TV show. And if I'm not mistaken as well, to give a shout out to this writing, this first episode, Stallone did have a writing credit in here, and it makes a lot of sense because he's literally, like I'm explaining, he's handling this Dwight persona very, very well. Story has so much detail. It is very, very wild to see. So now we're seeing deals being done in the first episode, and we're seeing already someone already got killed in the first episode, where you saw that quality was great. It just adds to just the movie aspect. Characters interacting with each other is just looking very, very real. Dwight is going to be in a lot of stuff that he doesn't want to deal with. The more power, more problems. Very good writing, especially this one moment in this episode where Dwight is literally saying this never ends. You know, it just keeps on going and going, especially him being the boss. My goodness, it's going to be very insane. Bodhi had a lot of lines in this episode where that were actually pretty funny. Bodhi was in this episode a lot, and that was pretty cool to see his character actually have that screen time. See Mitch in this episode because it added a lot of very concrete stuff to this first episode story. Very interesting how his character is actually going to be very heavily involved. There's new villains, new bosses that Dwight's going to deal with. But before I go into the new ones, very hilarious to see Bill in this episode. Frank Grillo absolutely killed this first episode. Very funny how in every episode from last season, this dude is always mad at something. Very quick to actually express himself. And in this one right here, very funny to see how this is actually a growth relationship that we've seen with Bill. They kind of teased it a little bit of he's going to get very heavy involved. I actually want to shout out the editing. Really enjoyed the editing in this first episode. There's like a little cool part in this episode where Bill, Dwight, and Tyson are talking with each other, and the editing in that part was actually really good, and it just shows the dedication behind the scenes. Budget is going to the right places, and talking about budget, definitely with the villains. So now with the villains, Cole Dunmire is a new character in here who literally messing with Mitch's character because I guess they know the ex-girlfriend, but this is like history of generation wealth with this Cole character. He's like a bully, gangster, mafia type of vibe. Good introduction with him and seeing what role he's gonna play. Very good addition on the aspect of just power and what jealousy is gonna bring. But Cole Dunmire is gonna be a character to look out for as well, and also his father, who is Jeremiah Dunmire, who's played by Robert Patrick. And that was crazy to see his performance, and that look was such an aura vibe. Like if he walked in the room, everyone's gonna have their eyes on him. He actually had that kind of magnetic pull like a Dwight had, and that was one of those interesting perspectives where it's like, whoa, this dude right here is not giving any care for any life at all. Great acting, great screen focus. Mafia feel literally felt to the 100th degree with his character. I'm just very, very happy to see that there's more characters in here and they're not feeling like a bother at all. Costume design and the locations that we saw in this first episode, literally for me as a fan, I wish I can go in there and just see it, but you guys should just go watch this first episode. You're not going to be disappointed at all. This road is going to be very, very insane while traveling it. Very crazy we didn't get a cow thresher sighting in this first episode. So let me know what you guys feel about this first episode. Honestly, a lot of the feel of the mafia vibe is very, very impressive in here. The action in the first episode was definitely there. Was the crime there in the first episode? Absolutely was there, and that was crazy to see that we're just being fed so much already. This one right here was definitely an introduction of get ready for this whole season. After my watching the first episode of the third season of Tulsa King, Blood and Bourbon, out of 10, I'm gonna have to give this episode a 9 out of 10. That's my review for the third season of Tulsa King, episode 1, Blood and Bourbon. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.